Hello, how are you guys doing? I was going to say it's good morning, but I think it's good afternoon. Well, actually, depending on where you are. How is everybody doing? We are doing a really exciting and fun craft along today because obviously we're in this really fun attic setup that I did. What was the project that I did? It was the skeleton that we kind of redid or gave a makeover to. Well, let's see. Hello from Denmark. Hello. My eyes are not good with the bright light right there. Nicoletta, hello, hello. Oh my gosh, hello from Baltimore. I love Baltimore. I've only been one time, I think, and it was very, very pretty. Hello from Spain. Hello, Vero. Oh my gosh. So let's see. What are we doing today? I have some funny stories to tell you. Like, I think right off the bat, I have some funny stories to tell you. Um, I'm trying to think. Let's see. Hello from Missouri. Hi, Tim. Let's see. And hello from Wyoming. Hello, Sabrina. And it looks like Queen, hello from California. Hello. Is it warm? I think it's still pretty warm there. I'm obviously, hello from Gettysburg. That's Pennsylvania, right? I'm really bad at history. Hello from San Jose. You know, the Winchester Mystery House is in San Jose. Okay, so what do I have to talk about? Because I've got a lot to talk about. So, where do I begin? The first thing I should tell you is I'm having a shift of projects go on, and there's a couple of reasons why. What happened? So I'm doing this guest room. I mentioned that in the last live stream that I'm making over this amazing guest room, and I'm really kind of going completely bonkers on it. And the guest I was supposed to have, it was a surprise. They are not going to be able to make it, so sad, but they will come again. We'll work that out. I'm not going to say who it was. But I'm going to finish this guest room. And something happened while I was working on the guest room, and I'm going to talk about it in the episode, and I will show you guys pictures in that episode. But I fell off a ladder really bad, and because the room is like 10 or 11 feet tall, and I was being careless, and you really can't do that with ladders. And I've never had something like that happen to me, but I fell and I like really hurt myself. I'm fine now, nothing broke, but I was definitely not doing cartwheels for the next few days after that. So anyway, I had to recover kind of from that, and that has slowed up my schedule, which sort of has, like, I want to say, what's the word? It has messed with my schedule plan for all of the projects that I'm doing. And I don't think I'm going to be able to pull off the monster house in the way that I want to. So I am doing a Halloween decoration on the outside of the house, and it's going to be really neat. But it isn't going to be the monster house. I'm going to save that, I think, for next year. And really, truthfully, I need to start on that project like in August, because it's what I have in mind can't be done in like a couple weeks. It's really something that needs like 2 full months at least, like dedication. So I'm a little sad about that, but was Chauncey nearby? You know, technically he was just in the room below. He was in his cage though. So Chauncey, in case you don't know, is this creepy little Victorian doll that I got for Christmas. The captive got me, and we think he's bad. So we keep him wired in a nice little bird cage. But yeah, I don't know. Has anyone here ever fallen off a ladder? I was high up, kind of. And I didn't, I always thought I'd have time to like scream and like grab something, and no. I like fell and didn't brace myself at all. It was it was really bad. I crushed a few things that were below me. And it was, like I said, I was listening to Lizzo's About Damn Time, that song. And I think I just got a little bit too into it, and it was bad. Okay, but I'm alive, and the project is, it's gonna blow your mind. I can't really like undersell this room because when you see what it looked like before and what it's shaping up as, it's going to be really neat. And it's going to be worth nearly dying for, I think. And so that's the first story that I have to tell you. And now I have something really exciting to tell you that I think anyone who's watching is going to be very excited to hear. I'm rabies proof now. we had a bat flying around in our bedroom while we were sleeping, and the captive thought he felt something on him. And so we had to go to the emergency room and get our like rabies globulin, something. Anyway, we had to get 4 shots that first day, and then we've had to go back like 3 separate times to get like extra shots. And I'm trying to think, yesterday we got our very last shot. So now it's like I could grab a bat and lick its face. I mean, I'm not going to do that. I don't think the bat would like that. And you know that truthfully, they probably have other diseases I don't want to be licking their face for. But I don't think I'll be dying of rabies anytime soon, which is very, very exciting. And so now I can go play with the raccoons outside, which I've never been able to do. I'm joking about all of this, but I don't have to live in like mortal terror anymore if a bat's flying around my head. I could be like, kitty, and like, I don't know. We'll see how that works out. I don't think they'll be into that. Yes, and we've both been vaccinated, so we can both play with the wild animals that live in the house. So that was exciting. Okay, how should we start this? So I'm very fortunate with this house because we bought it fully furnished, and that means it came with, you know, decades, kind of a century or more, worth of weird antiques stuffed in weird corners. And so I was able to find a whole bunch of old medicine bottles and kind of curio bottles down in the basement in the carriage house. They were all over the place. So, but obviously it's unlikely that everyone's going to be able to do that. So what do you do if you're looking for these old bottles? If you go to antique shops, you can always find them, but my gosh, sometimes they will charge you an arm and a leg. I would say your best bet is to go to thrift stores, and like you kind of have to scour looking for them, because I've done that in the past, because sometimes they're like ridiculous. Sometimes they'll try to sell a bottle for like $75 or something totally bananas. And if you go looking around, you can usually find them. It's not terribly difficult. But anyway, so I have printed out these, and look, I've got like another camera set up. So I printed out the labels. The way that I did this, and I'm going to go in and amend the post that I did with the labels on them, because I created a grid sheet, and how I did this was the sheet was like 11 by 8.5. And so I just took a measuring tape, and I just measured over here and here to figure out which label would fit. And then I obviously would stretch it or pull it or do some things to it. And then you just put them on this sheet and you fit them on to that exact measurement, which is really simple to do. And then you just make the grid invisible when you print it. And that was, I mean, I literally did it this morning. It took maybe 30 minutes. So it really, really doesn't take a lot of time. Let's see. Do you guys have any questions before I really get going? Oh my gosh. I'm a little stuffy today. I think it's dry for the first time. It's been humid. Oh my gosh, we went to where do we go to the fair? But we didn't, we went to I think it's the New York State Fair in Syracuse. And what did I get? I did like gosh, I don't know any of the names of the things. We got like a blooming onion and a bunch of like junk food, basically. Are you enjoying the cooler northeast weather here? I love it. I mean, I think I've mentioned this. I had to go back to California for Midsummer Scream, and I just like the East Coast so much. I like how green it is. I like all of the like fun little things to do, and it's not as congested. So, there's really never any traffic. Okay. It was so good to see your post with Trixie in your basement. I love Trixie Mattel. She's my favorite. Have all the potions been tested before? No. And this isn't potions. This is poisons. So I'm actually going to create potion labels in the future, and we'll do kind of the same sort of thing. But this is specifically for killing people. So just keep that in mind. I want to clarify, because we can make like creepy love potions, hex potions, all sorts of really, really fun things, I think. Will you be handing out candy to the local kids? Absolutely. And adults. I don't care if like you don't have kids. Like you can come dressed up on Halloween. They don't do it on Halloween night here if the Halloween doesn't fall on a Saturday. So just so you guys know. But it's on the Saturday, I think. Double check. And that is the night that we will be here handing out candy, and what we're going to do in the front is going to be really, really fun. So stay tuned for that. Okay, so how do we do this first? Let's start cutting these out. I printed extras just in case. I didn't want to find myself missing or like messing something up, and that's honestly always like a good idea. Now, do I want to do this, or do I want to just cut them out? I'm not sure. Okay. Did you see Patti LaBelle at the State Fair? No, there was someone singing. Was that Patti LaBelle? I would have gotten way more excited if it had been. Will you do a tablecloth tutorial? I would love to. Nikki and Kim, hi. They're like my favorite people on earth right now. They made if you guys watched the live stream that we just did a couple weeks ago, they made that board game. And it's unbelievable. And let's see. I'm trying to go back. Oh, I saw something about the casket. What did you guys think about the casket if you saw it? Where is the casket? So the casket is currently in the red parlor downstairs. We got a casket. I don't know if I mentioned that was happening in the last live stream, but it happened. I've been talking to my friend Michael down south, and he and his daughter, Carol Ann, were able to bring me like an antique coffin that they had sort of sourced. And so it's terrifying. I will be honest with you. It spooks me out more than I kind of expected it to. The embalming table down in the basement with the skeleton on it doesn't bother me at all. But something about the casket in the parlor, I keep walking past it. It'll be like 1 o'clock in the morning or something, and it's all dark. And I'm like, I kind of want to lift up the lid, but then I'm like, what if somebody snuck in there? So I don't. It's really creepy, but I absolutely love it. It doesn't have lining, so it's old, and at some point the lining had kind of rotted and somebody pulled it out. And so we're going to be making an episode basically out of relining it and kind of just making it extra special and beautiful. Are you using the casket for outdoor Halloween decor? No, it's so that casket weighs like a vehicle. I don't know. It's so, not quite. It's so heavy. And it's like an antique. It's like an actual special. So I'm going to be very careful with it, I guess is what I'm saying. Okay, let's start cutting out. If you guys have these printed and you have your bottles ready, let's start cutting these out, and I'll try. I'm really bad. I'm going to switch over here. I'm really bad at talking and working at the same time. I start to get really quiet. So if I do that, just start shouting at me. So I'm taking this little blade. I'm going to figure out if this is the best way to do this. I think you can use scissors and you're going to end up with pretty similar outcome. Okay, so I've got the first one started. What are you going to use the casket for? Okay, so I have a game plan. There's only 6 of these caskets left in the world that have not gone underground. This particular one is what I'm saying. And so ideally, I would like to just keep it as a prop until I die and then will it to somebody who will also take care of it. But if I die before I get the chance to like make my own coffin, which hopefully won't happen, I do plan to use it for myself because it's really, really beautiful. But let's just hope that doesn't happen. Okay, so I'm cutting these out. And let's see. Okay, somebody said, did you see the new Hocus Pocus trailer? No, and there's a reason. I don't want to ruin that for me. I'm so excited about it. I'm probably way too excited about that movie. I would say it and Trick or Treat are the best Halloween movies that have ever been made. Ooh, we have a clock that's making some noise. Okay. So first thing, we've got our Flittermouse concentrate label. You guys can see that. And just cut that out. And what else? Okay, so basically how I created these labels is Miss McConnell's partner poison. I drew that whole thing from scratch and put it into a computer, and like that's my like entirely original label. And then all of these other ones, I just did them for my house. So I just wanted stuff that was spooky and cool. So I went and found a bunch of kind of antique labels and then manipulated them, taking pictures from here and doing that, and like basically just Frankensteined them into looking like what they are currently. Like the immortality tonic, I put all the like the words on them, and then I just like found fun pictures and weird little frames all over the internet. So you can do that is what I'm saying. The new Hocus Pocus trailer is so good. And also, you're gonna laugh at me, I'm really excited for the new Little Mermaid. Like, I loved that movie when I was little. I think I've mentioned like when I was little and growing up, I wanted to grow up to either be a vampire or a mermaid. And so mermaid, like it came out when I was a little kid, like the cartoon. So I'm really excited for the new one. And the girl they cast looks perfect, and they've done really amazing looking effects. I just saw the trailer last night, so I'm excited for that. I'm excited for the next Halloween movie that's coming out. I think that's coming out next month. I love all the Halloween movies. Vampire Mermaid. Honestly, if that's an option, I would take that in a heartbeat. I probably could have cut these out before, but I don't know. It's kind of fun that we can do this together. I'm trying to think, there's so many other things that are coming out that I'm really excited for. This is a big Halloween. We've got like a Tim Burton show coming out, Hocus Pocus 2, a new Halloween movie, and then let's see, hi from the north coast of Ireland. Hello, Sarah. What time is it in Ireland right now? I would think it would be like the afternoon. Like, I don't think I know enough. Okay, so we've got that. I'm just going to cut all of these out because, I don't know, why not just make a whole bunch of different ones? Oh, it's 6:20. Yes, the Wednesday Addams series is coming out. Okay, so is everyone like obscenely excited for Halloween? Because oh my gosh, when everything turned green and it was time for winter to really be over, I was like, I felt like anxiety about winter coming again. But I guess enough time has passed that I am obscenely excited for pumpkin farms, and there's a place called Pumpkin Junction here. It's really amazing. And then also Cullen Pumpkin Patch. And that's where I get all of my pumpkins. All of that stuff is coming up. I just have to finish this guest room and not have it kill me. But I think I'm going to be able to do that. So, hello from England. Hello, Allison. I am so sorry that you've lost the queen this week. That was shocking. I mean, I don't know why shocking. It was going to happen at some point, but it was still very sad, and I don't know. She's kind of, I mean, it's going to mean something, I think, a little bit different to everybody. But to me, she's like all of the really old ladies from when I was a little kid are almost all gone. And that's like a weird feeling, I will tell you. I want to say like maybe Angela Lansbury is one of the only like the old ladies that you would see all the time in like media and that's still around. I don't know. I'm probably wrong on that. I think that's something everybody who lives long enough experiences. You start to watch all of those people go that kind of, I don't know if you'd call them a talisman, but they're kind of like these. Oh, Maggie Smith is still going. I take it back. See, I just hadn't thought about it. So my favorite of these labels is the Youth Elixir. It's this one. I just think that one is so fun for some reason. Oh, somebody asked, Christy asked, are the bird prints on the wall behind you antique? No, I did those in an episode. I didn't do those specific ones in an episode, but in one of the early craft-alongs that we did at the old house, I created those. So they're really fun looking, I think. All right. I'm just going to keep cutting these out. Could use some Youth Elixir, same here. It's so funny. Oh, something I should mention. Some of the labels were really pixelated, and I saw a couple people asking about those. So those were labels that were intended for really tiny bottles, so they didn't need to be blown up. And that's why they're a little pixelated, is when I created them, I was like, I don't need like a high resolution. I'm just doing them small. But now that other people wanted them, I'm like, shoot. So just so you know, those were intended for tiny little bottles. And let's see. Oh, Mina, hello, I'm so happy you're here. Oh, I should mention, my mom and dad are going to be here for Halloween. I'm so excited about that. I would say after Hocus Pocus, that's like the second thing I'm most looking forward to. Okay. This goes pretty quickly. It's not terribly complicated. I don't know if you guys can hear all of the clocks working. Do your parents dress up? My mom will, and my dad's going to, whether he likes it or not. He's going to give me grief, but I will win in the end. Okay. Well, these just go incredibly easy. This is a very, like, you can do this with little kids. It's like a really fun, simple project. And once you have them like around your house, they just look amazing, I think. How did you get started with photography? I think my mom was the one who she got me my first camera. And I started, I think I was taking pictures of myself, which is terrible sounding, but It's the truth. Um, and I felt bad constantly asking other people to take pictures of me. So I somehow got a tripod, and that was the beginning, basically, of how all of that started. It was just vanity, I guess. Okay, we have almost got these all cut out. I should say my mom was actually into photography, and I think I watched some of the stuff she was doing. Do you still have your first camera? Absolutely not. So let's see. I'm sure it would take, like, it was early digital age, and I'm sure all of those cameras just took terrible pictures. Pretty much all of the first pictures I started taking are almost unpostable now just because they're so grainy looking. Of course, this is one of the labels with a bunch of little notches on it. Getting there. I was thinking, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to do this, but I'm toying with the idea of trying to make an episode maybe of like going around to like the fun Halloween places that are around here, like the pumpkin patch, and so you guys can see all of the fun kind of New Englandy things that they do around here. They have something called cider donuts that are so delicious. Okay, we've got that, and I've got one last label to cut out. Okay, so you guys would like that? I can't promise. I need to actually, I need to stop promising things, but I'm going to throw out ideas, and if I'm able to pull them off, I will. But it does sound like something that would be very fun to do. And the pumpkins here are just dirt cheap. It's so funny. In California, I think I've mentioned this before, you could spend so much money on like a really beautiful pumpkin, and here they're just like so affordable. It's awesome. Okay, we're almost there. Okay. And we have, I can close this now. Okay, let's see. Episode on making a haunted house. That will happen. I will be doing that at some point. That's the really fun thing about this is I will never run out of like awesome episodes and things to do. I might have months where like the projects are more simple, just to save my sanity, but there's always a million different things you can do, and they're all really, really fun. So I'll be like an old lady by the time, actually not even then. I won't live to pull off everything that I want to. Okay, so make sure if you're doing this, you have water close by to save yourself. I've got a glass right here in case anything catches fire and you don't like it. But let me switch over here. So I've got this thing right here. I've got this label. And I'm just going to burn those edges a little bit. See, you might have to, ooh, lost that one. That is why. Just get a few more. Ooh, that got me. See, they might get you every now and again. You can also do this. just to kind of brown those edges. It's a little dangerous. And if you see those embers happening, you kind of got to grab them with your finger. Otherwise, they can keep going. This just gives everything a nice old look. And you will go through a lot of matches. Oh, someone said they can't see. So am I going up too high? Let me try to do this a little bit lower. Keep losing my matches. And let me see. Can you see that it's kind of... Is your lantern antique? It absolutely is. I will tell you a funny story about that. Okay, so now that we've got that, let's brown it in a few places. See how that happened? You see that little brown spot? That's kind of what you want. But you have to be careful. Oh, okay, that's perfect looking. See how that kind of browned right there? Why not use a candle instead of wasting all these matches? Sansa, you are correct. But I don't have any candles around here right now. Well, I do have this one, but it would just make a big waxy mess everywhere. Well, this is the candle I made and then I left up here in the attic, and it got very sad looking. And now it looks a bit phallic, but let's see. Okay, can you see you can't even see the top of the candle. So I won't do that because you won't be able to see what I'm doing. Where did the horse come from? Is there a horse around here? Did I miss something? I don't think I have any. Okay. Well, ideally, you could do this with a candle. But I don't think I'm running low on matches. Ooh, see, that one's good. Let me switch this over. Oh, the carnival horse. That came with the house, and it is very old. And my gosh, would that be expensive if I wanted to go buy it. So see how I'm doing that? And it's just kind of browning it in a fun way. There we go. I feel like that looks good. And luckily we have some water to drop our used matches in. Okay. So I think that's fun looking. So now let's figure out which bottle that applied to. Because each of these are measured. I think I actually made it for this big one. I did. So see, I've got a big bottle here. So it's going to go right on there. It's going to look so neat. This bottle was just down in the basement, waiting for a second life. Okay. So to apply that, I'm just going to take a little Mod Podge. Can you use coffee grounds to stain the paper too instead of flames? Let me give you my feedback on that. If you add too much moisture to the paper, most printers, the way that they distribute the ink on the paper, it will bleed the colors and do kind of unnatural. It will not look as authentically old as doing the flames, but you can do that. Yes, I think it could potentially jeopardize the authentic look that you're going for. So if you are using moisture, you want to basically be very sparing. So this, I'm going to, looks like a liquor bottle. I would believe that. I actually don't know what this is or what it went to. It looks alcoholish. Okay, so I'm going to take a brush to the back of this. You don't need a lot. You just want to lightly get all over the back of here. And you want to get the whole thing if you can. It's okay if your fingers touch a little bit. You can usually wiggle them a little bit if you need to adjust anything. Perfect. How fun is that? Okay. So that's stuck on there. That is our first one. Let's just set that over here really quick. That's really fun looking. Can you provide a list of the other paint colors used in the house? We want the morning room shade. Well, if you want the morning room shade, you are going to be very pleased with this next episode because you will be getting that. You will basically be getting, if you're here on Patreon, what I'm going to do is I went to Sherwin-Williams and I'm going to have like a scanner basically that you can take into a Sherwin-Williams and get that color so you have the exact color that I basically formulated. Okay, so let's see. This looks like Immortality Tonic. Okay, look at that. Is that going to look awesome? Let's age this paper up just a little bit. Oh, somebody said there was a whole bunch of different Mod Podges. I don't think if I've ever noticed that. This is satin. If they had a matte, I would have grabbed that if I had noticed that because matte is going to be ideal. So I'm not going to brown this one as much, but just a little bit. See, that kind of gives it just a little bit of something. It really makes it look. There we go. Just makes it look really like authentically old. And you don't need to do a ton. Get those. See, I don't mind if it ate away a little bit. It's kind of hard to mess up, I think. Now, obviously, if you lose the label altogether, that's going to be a problem. Little edges. And I think that's looking good. I like that. Are you dressing up for Halloween? Absolutely. I think I might be going, well, I can't say anything. We'll see. I will be, the clock is ready to go. Just get that on there. Something else I could have mentioned that's really fun is you don't have to clean the bottles either. They can look as old as you want them to. Like, I didn't clean these bottles at all. So look how fun, and see how like it ate away right there, but it doesn't look bad at all. And it just looks kind of browned and really old and spooky. Let's see, I think this was Flittermouse. Nope. Let's find our Flittermouse bottle. That's the Flittermouse bottle. Look how fun that is. I'm still cutting out labels. Okay, good. Then I won't feel bad. This is why I did a whole bunch. I was just like, well, I mean, it really doesn't take a very long time to do. And why not have, I mean, personally, I'm excited to have more of these labels, more of these little bottles around the house. Oh, and something I can tell you is if you don't cut something perfectly and you end up with like a little white bit, don't worry about that. You can just singe it off. You're probably gonna burn your fingers a couple times. Hopefully not too bad. Now let's just brown that a little bit. Ooh, that looks good. That one came out really good. Awesome. Okay, let me show you how that worked out. Look how neat that one came out. It's totally good if it has like a little funny dark spot on it. It just makes it look so much more fun. Candle is the way to go. Okay. Well, next time I will have a candle. I had a ton up here, and then like I said, it got really hot, and they got a little sad looking. Okay, let's get that right on there. I think this might be one of my favorite labels next to the Youth Elixir. Look at how fun that is. So when I was designing the words for these, I was like trying to look up antique words for everything I could think of. And so, you know, I guess in Victorian times, maybe even earlier, they would occasionally call bats a flittermouse. And so that's why that's called that. I think, which ones? This is Youth Elixir. Okay, see, and this could stand to be browned up quite a bit, I think. How are the cats and dogs doing? They are doing really good. I learned that the attics get so hot by losing a few candles. Oh yeah, the attics don't like wax. So yes, if you're doing this at home, use a candle, because this is messy and it smells. You want to get those little amber things. Now let's brown this up a little bit. Try to do it down here so you can see what's happening. Ooh, got a good little spot on that one. There we go. So that looks nice and dingy. I love how that looks. Burned up most of them immediately. Okay, so Nicolette was saying most of her edges are browning. So you do have to have some calloused fingers, and once it lights up, you blow it out and then you try to grab it. And if you see any of the little embers happening, sometimes you can strategically sort of leave them to do their magic in certain areas. But if you don't do something about them, it'll just eat right in there. Okay. Do you put the Mod Podge on the top of the labels too? I only put it all over the backside, going all the way to the edge. I just kind of work it around. And you do get a little bit on your fingers, but that isn't a problem. Let's see. Professor Poof would look good in one of these labels. I love that idea. Okay. You will be seeing that in the future, and that was your idea. Like I said, you have a few moments to wiggle these around until they look right. Okay. Wait till I show you what these all look like together, because they are so fun looking. They're already looking so, so, so neat. I love doing this. I haven't done this since before I started Patreon, I think. That was when I made all of these labels just a few months before. And so you guys have never gotten to see how fun all this is. Okay, this one, let's do brain fluid. I like my brain fluid one. Let's look at that. Or spinal fluid, I'm sorry. Let's see. I just set off the smoke detector. I'm so sorry. Use a candle. I would use a candle, but it would all be off camera. Actually, you know what? What is the best way to preserve old flowers like roses? You know, I still have my wedding bouquet, but that's only because it's been hung upside down and just dried out and I don't ever touch it. Okay, so I'm lighting a candle. This is that interestingly shaped one. And I'm just gonna take this. Okay, this is dramatically easier. I would strongly recommend doing that. Don't burn your house down, by the way. And blow the flame out before you start hitting it with your fingers. Otherwise, you're gonna end up with a crispy little finger. Get pretty close. And then let's see how, I think this is just the best way to do it. Okay, that's perfect. You have a lot more control with a candle. Let me show you. Because you can actually get it, see that little brown spot? That's like a good color. Would you be willing to do a walking cane episode? I love that idea. So yes is the answer. Because you could carve one. And I'd probably do like a little owl. Okay, so that's looking really good. Okay, so a candle is the absolute ideal way to do this. Okay, well that looks perfect. I'm gonna blow out the candle so it doesn't, it's a very unfortunate looking candle. Okay. Let's baste the back of that. I'm just gonna pop that right on there. And it already looks like it's just been there. Show you. And let's do a couple of the itty bitty bottles. I think I have this one for this guy. Perfect. I'm going to try the candle again, even though I see that it's, because of its unique shape, it wants to just like drip the wax immediately onto the ground. Okay. So this one doesn't have any, it doesn't say anything. It just has a little snake on it. So it's meant for like a pretty small little bottle. Perfect. Okay, that browned really beautifully. So please, please, please use a candle and not a match. A match is ridiculous. You have a limited amount of time to fiddle around, so. Perfect. Oh my gosh. I love the way this one came out. Look at that. So I'm going to cover this. I'm making a mess, but that's pretty typical. Let's just take this itty bitty baby bottle, and this one kind of wraps around it in a fun kind of way. And just looks like a little snake. Okay. Let's see. What is our next little one? I think this is my cyanide. No. Either that's my cyanide or my syphilis. No, that's my syphilis bottle. Okay. I don't know why making a model or like a bottle label that's like a venereal disease seemed fun, but I just think it's really great. When we do like potion labels, I think I'll do like Black Plague ones and things like that. Okay, so I don't want to mess this up too much. So you really have a lot of control with when you use a candle. Okay. Any embers you want to put out immediately with your fingers. Perfect. And now let's brown this a little bit. The nice thing also is if you completely mess one up, I mean, it's not terribly complicated to just print out another one. Okay, this thing is dripping wax all over the place. So you just baste the back of that. And colored bottles are really fun. I would say they tend to look, I would say, a little bit more special. They're kind of harder to come by though. Okay, look at this. It's syphilis syrup. Okay, I love that one. That might, see, I keep saying they're all my favorite, but I really like a lot of them. Let's do, I think this is Strigiforms. And that one, I don't think I'm gonna brown that one. You don't have to do the browning. This one I'm just gonna plop right on because it's already so small and slender that burning off some of it, you might lose something that you really kind of wanted on there. So you just pop that right on there. Doesn't that look old? I love that one. Let's see. I think I only have 2 more bottles to go. And then we're just gonna have this like awesome like collection. Let's see which, that's my cyanide. I think that was a spare bottle. Now cyanide definitely needs a little bit of a burnt edge. I think I'm going to try to burn both the edges on the next 2. Okay. Like I said, I think I'm just going to do this last one also. This is the Miss McConnell's Partner Poison. And if you're really careful, it may not even ignite. I try to be really careful and then I get kind of impatient. Like that. Almost. One last little bit. Let's brown that just a touch. So now we've got those. And I'm just going to baste the back of these. So the partner poison actually got some wax dripped all over it, and I think that's actually just going to add to it. It's a project that you can definitely be messy with, and the end result will still look awesome. Work that on, see how that looks. And our last one. I did that backwards. Started painting the bottle. And let's get that on there. Perfect. Okay. So let's scooch some of these things out of the way so you can kind of see what these are all looking like at this stage. I'm gonna place them all right here, and we've done a lot actually. Done with matches. Trying to arrange them so you can see them in all of their glory. Look at how fun all of these look. And you could put them like around on a bookshelf, all over the place. And we're not even done. Okay, so let's start making our poisons. And this is very fun to do, because all you're doing, I don't know if I mentioned this, you can use a lot of different things. You can use acrylic paint. You can use, what else could you use? I'm using clothing dye just because it's so easy. Now I'm actually going to take all of those matches that I've made a big mess with, put them in a waste basket. Okay. So I've got this, and I think I'm going to do pink first. So you only need a tiny bit. Don't do too much. A little goes a long way. So see how that's got a really pretty pink hue, and it's even got some little match bits that we don't need. The water does not have to be perfect looking, because obviously you want it to look old. Okay. So you want to take a funnel. Let me find my youth elixir. And let's hopefully I will do this in such a way that I don't make a huge mess. But as a contingency, I'm going to have a little rag on hand. And you just want to fill those up. There isn't really like, you can fill them up a little bit so that they look like they've been used, which is really fun, I think. I think I want mine to look pretty full. Okay. So now you've got youth elixir with some pink color. I'm just going to set that aside. Now I need more water. Let's see. Do you need any type of preservatives to prevent molding? You know, I did mine years ago and I've never seen mold. So it's literally, you're not going to most likely, just because it's literally fabric dye and water. And they're sealed, so. Add a bit more water to that. And somebody, Shar said, the more mold, the better. And I couldn't possibly agree more. Okay. Oh, yes. Make sure you have room for a cork. That's also very important. Now let's go a little bit green with this one. I need to mix this one up, shake it. Please don't get dye all over me. I'm not wearing gloves. Let's see what just a little bit of color does to that. Do you think food coloring would work? Absolutely. The only reason I'd be a little hesitant about using acrylic paints is over time the color might separate. So I think I'm getting kind of a kind of a violet, which I like a lot. So let's set that aside. By the way, how much fun is this? I don't know why. I love doing simple little crafts, especially like when the end result ends up looking like so awesome. So I hope you're having fun. I'm having a really good time. Okay, Immortality Tonic. What do we want to do? Usually you can choose the colors based off of, and you kind of want to mix up what you end up having. Actually, I'm going to pause for just 1 second because I realize I don't have a color I would love. So hold on one moment. Okay, I'm back. I sent my henchman on a mission. Okay, so I know I want those colors. I think Immortality Tonic should be dark. Let's see what, okay, this one's going to be easy to do. Got these over here. So you see my Immortality Tonic here. This is kind of a muddy color. And this one, I don't think I'm going to fill that up all the way. I think I want that to look like I've been using it. So we'll set that one aside too. I think Flittermouse Venom, the same color, is going to work really good for. I have a breach. I have like itty bitty funnels somewhere. Ooh, hold on one moment. Sir, thank you so much. this without getting dye all over the place. It really wants to. I can already see my fingers getting nice and dark. This isn't really a project you want to do in your Sunday best. Liking how that's going. Let's top this one off. Almost. Okay. My Sunday best is in the laundry. Okay, good. Okay, so if you end up with any extra, hopefully you have like a sink nearby. Just dump out anything you don't want to use. And hold on one second. I see my mom is calling me. Hello? I'm doing the live stream. I literally paused while my mom isn't watching, so okay, I love you. Bye. Okay, good. Everyone's saying hi. Ooh, she's in trouble? Not really. I like it when she watches, but obviously she can get a little busy too. Okay. So, the captive went and got me green, which I needed like a lighter green. So let's pour some water. Oh my gosh, that's so heavy. Okay. I don't have a ton of upper body strength. Okay. Shake up that green. Hopefully we get a nice, interesting color out of this. That is not quite the color I want. So yeah, if you end up with a dud, just pour that out. Let's try this again. It was a little green, but it wasn't like dangerous green, and that's what I wanted. I'm kind of going for like a color of green that would alarm somebody. No, is this what the paint list was for? No. Okay, so I'm going to try to do just a touch. Let's see what that does. There we go. That's a better color of green. So I'm going to go just a hair deeper. Okay. That looks like a spooky kind of green. I don't want to tempt fate. Okay, let's do arsenic with the green. And this is probably going to take up all that I have. mix a little bit more. Oof. That went a little darker, but I don't mind that. I like how that's looking. How fun looking is that? Set that over here. Now what else could be green? I've got those. I don't think that should be. Maybe the snake one. What other colors do I have? I have a brown. So let's dump out the green. I want to make one and put mouthwash in it. That is such a fantastic idea. I love that. Please, somebody do that. Oof. It's a workout. Okay. You can put powder in some of them, absolutely. And I've even done, so I have one of the labels is asbestos. And I think I just put like dirt from outside. I went and got like dirt and put that in one of the containers. And I'm almost certain I got the bottle that I put that on at Michael's. Which, by the way, I was just at a Michael's, I think yesterday, and they have all of their fun Halloween stuff. Which, I don't know if you guys know this, but Michael's does like the best Halloween. Okay, let's mix this up. We're making them and putting vodka in them. I love it. Okay, this is gross, but it's perfect for the brain fluid. Look at that color. It's like totally nasty. Okay, where did my funnel go? Does anyone know what color spinal fluid actually is? Because if it was even kind of close to that, I'd be very happy. For partner poison, let's go a little bit of a dark brown if we can. Oh, spinal fluid is clear. Well, that's not very exciting. It's nice to have a variety of different shades because it'll just make it look, I think, more real. Cyanide. What all do I have left? Is it just, ooh, syphilis. Let's go dark brown with syphilis. I don't think this one matters as much because the bottle is already colored. Ooh, that is some bubbly syphilis. Perfect. And I don't know if I can make this color with what I have, but I'm going to try to make a lavender if that's possible. I think I might have to get a little bit creative. Just a little bit of pink. And I'm going to do what I said not to, which is I'm going to have a white dye. I think that's actually a really great idea. You could just put white paint almost. Okay, so I mixed in a little bit of blue. And I don't know what it looks like on camera, but it looks pretty violet-y to me. I like that for the cyanide. And as you guys know, I get really messy with these. And this project is no exception. Cyanide ready to go. Let's just make a funny color for the last one. And this is Strigiform. I can't pronounce that. Strigiform salve. Strigiforms is the, I think, the technical name of an owl. And that one, I'm actually just going to leave that like half empty. And that, like I said, will kind of give the impression that we've been actually utilizing some of these. So let's get our mess out of the way. Did my stemware arrive yet? Not yet. But that just gives me something to look forward to. I think alcohol inks would work for this. Alcohol inks. I don't know if I'm familiar with what that is. But we are coming close. Okay. So now let me tell you another funny story, and it's one that I have not shared in this live stream yet. And that is I forgot about corks for this project. So this morning I was like, I need corks and I don't have time to run to Michael's to see if I can grab some. But there is a liquor store nearby. And so I went and I got a few bottles of champagne so I could, like the cheapest champagne I could find. And then now I've got like little corks and things. Okay, my mom texted me and let's see what she said. Oh no. Okay. She was saying something about raccoons. I think her raccoons were getting a little wild. Okay, so I've got some little silly craft corks. Those, so those you don't even have to do anything crazy to. The little bottles, they should pop right into. Oh, except that one, it's got a little bit too much juice in it. Okay. So like I said, little bottles, these should be pretty straightforward. And if I had gone, which I should have, okay, so let's see. So this one, the cork doesn't quite fit, and that's what we want. That's the ideal situation, because then you just take a blade, cut into it, and it can be rough. It does not need to be fancy at all. If you have a metal cap, you can use them. I just personally think that the corks look a little more fun. So you just whittle that down, and then you just push that down. Oh, unhealthy spinal fluid can be found to be yellow, orange, or pink. Okay, well, I like that. Okay, so that's like the dream cork, just so you can see. See if I can show you. So it's sticking out like a decent amount that you can easily get a hold of it. I'll just set that right there. Let's see if one of these corks is going to work for, oh, perfect. You know what? Somebody said this was an alcohol bottle, and I bet they were right. That cork kind of just fit right on there. Now, is that waterproof? I don't know. Hopefully. Let's see. That's too small. It's kind of too small. Okay, perfect. I was hoping this one would need a good one. Okay, spinal fluid that is yellow, orange, or pink can indicate bleeding into the spinal fluid. Ooh, that doesn't sound desirable. Okay, let's see how. I like the look of that. Sounds like squeaking bats. Probably, totally. Okay, this one is definitely not going to fit. So let's take one of these corks and start whittling that down into a point. These are those champagne corks that I got. I need to actually go on, I think probably eBay, I bet, and I'm sure somebody's selling collections of corks. Because if they're old, it's better. So I was telling the woman at the liquor store that I needed just the corks. And then when I got to the register and she tallied it up, I was like, well, I'm pretty sure that is the most anyone has ever spent on just corks. Because even them being cheap was still kind of pricey. Okay. Oh my gosh, he's trying to run away from me. So I'm going to try to do this, cut off the top. See if I can do that without cutting my fingers off. Ideally, you'd have like a knife or something to do this with. You never want to apply too much pressure to one of these things. I think I'm Almost there. Just a bit. There we go. So that is a cork. And that looks great, I think. I just think the corks make them look a lot more old-fashioned, which obviously I am a big fan of. I want to do that. Let's do a tall one on this guy. I pushed this one down and it's gone too far down. Okay, well, I regret to. Ooh, I caught it. I was like, oh no. Okay. I almost lost my cork. And this one, I'm going to kind of take off some of that rounding so it doesn't look so champagne corkish. I think I'm just about there with this one. Kind of muscle that down on there. Okay. That's a little silly looking. Do they have like old brown looking corks at Michael's? I don't know if I've spotted them. I know they have like the fresher looking ones. You know what? I said these were all poisons and I was wrong because obviously Youth Elixir and this Immortality Tonic are not poisons. Okay, so I've got that one right there. Spinal fluid, I'm just going to use a regular stopper. And that one too. Because I just feel like I'm going to cut off a finger if I do any more with this thing. Okay. Now we are just about there. So you don't have to do this with all of them, but for maybe just a couple. You can take a little bit of twine and do a fun little bow, although I don't know how this twine, oh, there we go. So you don't need a lot, but you can just wrap that around a few times. Just kind of think about it as like giving the bottle a little bit of a scarf. And you can tie a bow if you like. I'm literally just trying to get that kind of old texture going on. And I would say you don't need to do this with all of them, but it does kind of give it just like a little bit more something going on. Let's see, which is another one. This one would probably be good for this. Maybe some red wax over the corks. I love that idea. Okay. Tie that off, cut those off. And we're not going to go crazy. Maybe I'll just do one more. The spinal fluid could use a little bit of a handkerchief. Went a little wild with this one. Will I like that? I don't know. Maybe that one looks a little silly. Let's try some just up here at the neck. Just about ready for our last step. Okay, that's as many as I'm going to do with that. And now, for the final little thing, just take a little paint palette. That was loud. We're going to mix some primary colors until we can get kind of like a muddy looking brown. This definitely does not have to be very specific or terribly fancy looking. And I've mentioned this before, but these folk art paints are so good because they're very, very matte, which is pretty ideal when you're doing something like this. I don't know why that is not wanting to play along, but it isn't. There we go. And I'm making a big old mess, but like, isn't that essentially all crafting is? So I've got primary colors here. Let me show you how that looks. And I'm just using the same palette that I had the glue on because why waste multiple dishes? I'm just going to mix these together until I get a nice muddy looking brown. Flip this over so you can see. And you don't need a lot, just a little bit. A little more darkness in there. Okay. So let's take one of our bottles. Let's start with one that we don't care about maybe the most. You can just take a little bit of that paint. And I'm really doing this pretty haphazardly. And you can just wipe it off. Go around the cork. And this just kind of dingies it up. Sorry about that sound. But can you see how much that ages that from looking super fresh and bright? And that's what you want. And you can even do a little bit on the side of the bottle and blot it up. Keep it kind of messy looking. Just want this to look like it's been sitting somewhere for way too long. Let's go in here with our arsenic. I'm just going to paint this cork. Get a few splotches on that rope. See how that just instantly tints it nice and old and spooky? And we're just going to do this with all of them. Let's see. So this is a light colored one. Plotting that around. Like I said, you can just blot the bottle a little bit here and there and it'll give it kind of a real old kind of a look. That's cyanide. This literally just takes a moment. Have I listened to any good books? Right now I'm listening to, it's called The Midnight Assassin, and it's about a killer in Austin, Texas from, I think he was operating like 1885, right around then. And he was killing a bunch of women, killed a few men. And I haven't gotten to the end, but I think they're going to insinuate that he's either the inspiration for Jack the Ripper or he is Jack the Ripper and then he just like moved, because I think the murders stopped when those murders began. But I haven't finished the book, so I can't say that with any authority. But it's really interesting. He was basically killing like servant girls. He started with that and then it moved, it escalated to the point that he was murdering like debutantes and society ladies. Where are you going to display these bottles? I think I mean like a bookcase, the library maybe. Get that a little bit dingier looking so it's not so fresh. I want that to look old. It's funny, this paint just makes them instantly look so old. Just blot that down. Let's see, I think, have I gotten them all? I think I got all of them. Okay, so let me put some of this mess away. My fingers are completely covered. Set that right over there. I'm gonna put the corks I didn't use over here. I can't wait. Like this is, they came out really, really like fantastic looking. Right here. I'm just going to scooch them off to the side. I'm always making a big old mess. Okay. So let's get these all set up over here so you guys can see all of them. So let's switch over the camera, and I'm going to see if I can't tilt it up just a little bit. One of these nozzles here. How can I move this? It can't be that hard. Or maybe it can be. I don't know. It's got a little joint here. Hopefully I don't mess something up. Oh, that's what I can do. Let's see what that's showing. So look at these guys. We have a whole little collection here of really old looking bottles now. And they all say spooky things. So if people come to your house and they're sort of looking around at all of your little things, if you have these kind of just peppered around, especially, I'm trying to think like the syphilis syrup, they're really, really fun. I feel like they add a ton of character. I'm drinking. And they look old. I'm not switching over the camera yet, so you guys can enjoy looking at that as much as possible. But look how fun. So I've got arsenic, immortality tonic, youth elixir, spinal fluid, some syphilis syrup, partner poison, cyanide, strigiform salve, and flittermouse venom. Yay! Yeah, don't they look really fun all together? I just think they are fantastic. They're good for Halloween, but they're really I keep them up all year round just because they're so fun looking. And so like I said, you can create your own labels. I will be making potions specifically, so we'll do that maybe in a year or two, and it will be really fun. So, whew, got a little warm doing that. So let me think, what's going on? So let me update you again in case you tuned in a little bit later. The Monster House is being bumped to next year, but I am doing a really fun Halloween ornament outside that's going to be really exciting. The guest bedroom, I'm still working on it. I'm knee deep in it, so it's probably going to come out just about at the end of the month. I want to do either like another pumpkin carving party, some sort of really fun Halloween celebration. And I have mentioned that the captive and I are discussing some kind of a small party next year, possibly. So we're kind of working out the kinks on that. So that's a possibility at the moment. And I'm trying to think of what else. That's a lot. Like I said, when you see what this guest room looks like finished, oh, I'm sad it's not my own bedroom. It's going to be so fantastic and awesome. And I've found secrets in the room that I've been able to bring back from the dead. So I don't want to give away too much, but it's going to be amazing. So look forward to those. Thank you so much for tuning in for this. I hope you've enjoyed it. And I hope you're able to use, one or two of these labels in your own spooky little dwelling. So with that said, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you again very soon.